My name is Cassie Summers. Welcome to the Curious Universe podcast. Welcome to the Halloween edition of the Curious Universe podcast. Oh, today on the show, I would love to explore with you enchanted places and spaces. Have you ever found yourself going somewhere and it had a sense of enchantment? Now, it can feel like a light, magical, like fairy enchantment. It can also have a sense of dark, earthy, potent enchantment. Ooh. It can show up in a lot of different ways. But have you ever walked into a space and maybe you were even alone, but it did not feel like you were alone? Maybe the aesthetic around, so it could be like really warm, welcoming furniture and decor, but it felt cold and chilly in that space. These are some of the ways that I have acknowledged after like witnessing this over and over and experiencing this in different ways throughout my life. I've really noticed that these are some of the tells that I have that there's some sort of enchantment going on there. And so it could be an entity there. And we've talked on the show, especially this month, because it is this beautiful month of October that I love so much. We've talked about entities, we've talked about teammates, and it could be that. It could also be portals. It could also be different energies, different enchantments going on. And how much fun could we actually have with those spaces? What if we could engage with them to create greater possibilities? What can you receive from those enchanting places and spaces? And what if you could create your own? Let's get curious. So, what creates a space enchanted? Well, I'm not going to go into all of the logistics for you. I don't have a book of spells that you're going to read out and create all of that. For some people, it is their work with entities. They invite certain entities to come and be in that space. I know people that kind of hire entities to be guards of some sort. I'm not going to recommend that. But you do you. Other people just engage. Okay. And that's what we're going to play with today. We're going to play a little bit more on the engagement side than some of the maybe more traditional things you would find in shamanic work or Wicca, witchcraft, that kind of stuff. So, engagement. There's magic all around us, right? It's everywhere. Just like the air that we breathe. And when you engage with something, you actually bring more of it forward. You, if you engage with like a flower, for example, most often it will actually become more beautiful. It will last longer. It will like open up for you. When you engage with people, they open up and they become greater and more joyful and more of them. Engagement is this magical tool that we as wizards have that so few of us actually really truly use to our advantage. So let's play with using it to our advantage in these enchanted spaces. Years ago, I was in Portland, Oregon, and I was facilitating an As If by Magic class. which is this 2.5 day incredible class where we go into all sorts of magical things. Something kind of unexpected always happens every class, and I love that about that class. But before the class, I wanted to go on a field trip as a way of including the earth and as a way of getting us kind of like tapping into these different energies. So my amazing friend and host for the class recommended uh, what is known in Portland as the Witch's Castle. And I'm like, "Oh, yes, I would love to go to the Witch's Castle." So if you haven't been to Portland, Oregon, it is so rich with nature and well, magic. And we went into this beautiful area. It was just stunning, and I'm just tapping into it right now and allowing like that energy to come forward into this podcast. There's so much to explore. I wish I had had more time there because there were actually many creatures um, along the path, along the way. So we went and we walked through, and there's kind of this structure, kind of built out of, I would say, maybe this size kind of bricks. They looked like handmade bricks. And there was still part of the structure standing. So most of the home or the castle had crumbled. It would be kind of the size of an average size room, I guess, like in a home, not overly large, but not small, and then stacked twice. So there was like the bottom, and then there was some kind of steps, and then there was the top part. Um, and so we just kind of went there, and we were right away, there's like an interesting energy. So you walk up and you're like, huh, okay, so that's that enchantment energy, right? Um, and it was like, okay, and I just kind of acknowledged and also, guys, just because it's called the witch's castle and just because someone tells you that a witch used to live there, don't assume that it's actually a witch. Don't assume anything. I don't anyways, because that can close you off to what's actually there or what's willing to engage with you, because there might be a witch there, but she might not be willing to engage with you, or maybe she's moved on and now other creatures have moved in. So it's best to be super curious in these enchanted spaces. So here I am being really present and perceiving that there were some beings that inhabited this area. And I just asked, I didn't ask for permission because I don't really like to ask for permission. Maybe that's my humanoidness coming up. I'm like, But I did kind of let them know, hey, there was a group of us, people coming to the class, and I said, hey, we're all just really curious. We would love to engage here with this structure. And you don't have to engage with us, but if you'd like to, I'd be super curious to know more and explore with you. And this is just all I'm actually saying in my head. I'm not saying it out loud. You don't need to say it out loud because it's just actually putting out that energetic conversation and communication. And then I actually communicated with the space itself. Okay. So the space itself is going to have its own consciousness, its own awareness. So there's the physical structure, the earth around that place. And there was multiple energies kind of occupying all of that. And so I just kind of introduced myself. Hi, hello, I'm here. I'm really curious to explore here and see what is possible. And I put my hands in certain places where it was really light and went into a space of receiving. So what is receiving? We've talked about this on the show in other episodes. It's kind of a huge conversation, but for the short version, receiving is opening up to the infinite possibilities the universe is delivering and allowing yourself to receive them. So when you're receiving in a space like that, it can be like, it can be so different for everyone. And the way we receive or how receiving shows up for us is so unique and individual. So don't necessarily look at how someone else is receiving and see that as a template or the way to do it. The more you can discover how you receive, the greater the gift that will be for you. But getting really present, lowering those energetic barriers, because we walk up with energetic barriers all day long, and lowering those so that you can receive is probably one of the first steps. So you come in, you introduce yourself, you start to lower the barriers. You might be wondering, how do you lower barriers? I've had this question asked. You simply ask all barriers down, all barriers in all universes down. And you might have to like energetically imagine you're pushing down the barriers. You might find the moment you ask, they're just gone. You might be more like, I'm going to melt the barriers like fire, melting plastic. It might be more of a door opening. Again, it's like there is no, and I know a lot of things and places will tell you that there is a right way to do this. There's only your right way to do this. So the way in which you relax and lower your barriers is the best way. We've all had times like throughout the day or week or year or whatever, where we have the most greatest sense of relaxation. When you're relaxed, your barriers are down. So you can actually ask yourself to relax. And then notice what you notice. Those were the barriers, releasing or lowering. Relax again. Okay, cool. So in that relaxation, get really, really present. Like really, really present with everything around you. And then that's when that beautiful engagement shows up. So engagement is the interaction of your energy with someone or something else. So when let's say there was that structure, this beautiful, it was so beautiful, like brick structure, right? So I allowed my energy to engage with the energy of that structure. And I allowed my body to engage with it too, because I touched it and put my hands on it. And I really love doing that. I'm very like tactile. I like to feel things. And you don't have to, but I like to. That's part of how I engage. And so I'm there and in this space and being really present and engaging with the structure, engaging with the earth. I like smelt, like had a deep breath of the earth. That's part of how I engage with my body as I like use those senses. And sometimes I will use like if you put your attention on one sense at a time, so you can like close your eyes and then like listen. Put your attention on listening. You can close your eyes and close your ears and put your attention on smelling. So you can play with this. And there, again, no right or wrong way. You don't have to do that. But if that feels like it might be fun for you to start to explore, then please experiment, enjoy, explore. So here I am, I'm breathing in the earthiness. I'm engaging with my body and all my senses, with my being and all the creatures that were around. And there was quite a few. And I just started to have kind of like little conversations with them, with those that I got would be a contribution, including the structure itself. I asked the structure if it still desired to be there. I asked the structure if there's anything I can contribute to it. And I asked it, like, what were you really before this? What were you like? And really was receiving like pictures kind of in my head. That's one way that I do communication, but not everyone gets pictures. Don't worry about it. If you don't, then you're going to get it in a different way. Um, and we just had so much fun out there, and everyone was having their own very unique experience. Some felt like more connected, and others felt kind of less connected. And but overall, it was just such an enjoyable place. So that was like one example of this like enchanted area where there were kind of beings of magic inhabiting someplace. Shannon O'Hara, she does the talk to the entities. She's the creator, co-creator. Her and her father, Gary Douglas, created it together, and then she's been like the pioneer for it for years and years and years. Um, she talks about those earth places that are really rich and beautiful, often have more nature spirits. And so you can engage with those nature spirits. You could ask, hey, are there any nature spirits here? Would you like to engage with me? Interaction of your energy with another to create a greater possibility. And then you can communicate, you can explore, and then let go when you're done and move on. Um, so now let's look at different other spaces, maybe not as light and fun. So maybe you walk into a space and it's like your body's going, we're in danger, alert. Those places exist. Whether someone's using like cult worship or it could be black magic or any of that type of more demonic and anti-conscious energies. So you might perceive those. I'm not recommending that you engage with those places unless, I don't know, that's fun for you. I myself, I think I've just done that too many lifetimes. This lifetime, but what will show up is when I come into a space like that, I will have to lower my barriers because my initial reaction is to like, ah! And so barriers come up. It's not anymore, but it used to be. What I now do is my reaction, if I have one, is to like slam down my barriers so that I could be more aware. Because the more aware you are, the safer you are. And then I just ask, is there anything I can contribute to this space to bring it to more consciousness, more lightness? Sometimes I get a light sense of something, and sometimes I don't. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. We don't have to save the world, guys. We don't have to bring light into the darkness. We can be the catalyst for light. We can be the catalyst for consciousness rather than having to like go into the dark woods. We just be the light that lights up the dark woods. Okay, cool. So if you want to engage with those kind of more anti-conscious energies, and I'm just saying this because some people like that stuff, a warning, I will take no responsibility for anything you choose, including that. You could just kind of do similar to what I mentioned when I was engaging with the forest and the witch that lived there. Ask questions, communicate. But I do have to say there's so many more lighter, brighter places to play. Okay, so now what if you want to have your own enchanted kind of space? Let's play with that for a little bit here because as Halloween's coming, have you ever noticed that some people can have like all the great Halloween decorations, but it just feels like you're in like a dollar store, you know? And then other people might only have like maybe like a few decorations, but you're like, ooh, what's going on over here? Uh-huh. Yes. So there is that awareness of there's the aesthetic, of course. And I love design. I love I my as a young adult, I had planned to be an interior designer. That was the thing I was gonna do. So I love that you can take lighting and sounds and colors and tones and textures and create this incredible ambiance, right? Like candlelit dinners are like they're so different than when you have like the full lights on. It's just a very different vibe. So there's all of that. Use your aesthetics to your advantage. Use those physical elements to create the vibe. And also, what if there was another step, an energetic step you could have to really enchant those spaces? So one, just as I mentioned before, Shannon has talked about like the nature spirits. Well, if there are barren areas, you can actually ask the nature spirits to come and be there. So for what reason could you not ask them to come and like spend time with you in your garden? Because this isn't just about Halloween, guys. Maybe it's you want to create an enchanted space in your garden, or maybe you'd like your living room to just have a greater sense of magic to it. Okay. So as you're kind of pulling these pieces together, notice which ones have a vibration, like a different vibration. I feel like I need to give you an example. All right. How about this? So you could go into a store, right? And there's going to be like 5 to 10 to 20 of the same physical object. And you're like, okay, I'm going to create this. And even like say you're just buying Halloween decorations, okay? And notice which ones seem to match the vibration that you're designing to create. Whether it's you want something spooky, or maybe you just want something kind of enchanting, something mysterious, something curious. And then allow your energy to go, which one of these actually has the vibration of what I'm looking for? Because even though they were made in the same store, they were like banged out to be the exact same product. They actually all have their own vibration. It's so freaking cool. It is so freaking cool. And if you're kind of new to that, you might feel like, I don't know what I'm doing and the objects aren't responding to me. It's okay. Go with, get a sense of the energy that you desire to create and just grab the first one that pops for you. So just keep going, okay, what energy am I desiring to create here? And if you need to reference, do it. Like think of a movie. Maybe you watch Practical Magic and you love The Witch's Kitchen. Maybe if it's a non-Halloween thing, it's like the Secret Garden and you want to have like that beautiful garden that seems like it's its own little universe. Okay. Maybe you want to create your kid's bedroom and you want them to feel wrapped up like their spirit animals, like nestling them, whatever it is. And so you get the energy of what you desire to create. And then you ask, what objects can I bring in that will facilitate that? Okay. And again, there might be, okay, it's this. And then you see like five of the same thing and which one? And you can even touch, and I'll touch them sometimes. I'm like, and I've practiced with vibrations and stuff for a while. So if you're starting out, again, if you feel like you're not getting it, you probably are getting it more than you realize. Just play with it. The more you play with it, the more you realize how you do it, the more you get how you get it. Touch them. Okay, this one. Okay, this one. Okay, this one. So you start to curate and pull together all these elements. And they can even be elements from your house that you like, okay, what needs to leave this room to create this energy? What needs to come into this room? It could just be simply moving stuff from room to room. So you have all these physical elements, okay? And now, and you've asked them where they want to be placed, and you've done that whole thing. Now you're going to invite all the energies and the entities that are congruent with the vibration of what you're creating to come and be here with you, to come and be here with this. Ooh, delicious. So if you have a magic garden, what energies would you like to have in that magic garden? If you have, maybe your kid loves mermaids and they want a mermaid room and she just wants all this beautiful mermaidness. And okay, so what? Tap into those energies that she's aware of and invite them to come and be in that space. And when I say energies, that doesn't necessarily mean it's a disembodied being, right? So what's the energy of mermaid? What's the energy of the ocean? It's the energy of the seashells and the pearls, the sand. And how could that show up here? And would you bring it in? Cool. And you can actually do and like pull energy, do these energy pulls to bring in those energies from all over the universes to whatever space. So maybe you own a storefront and you want to create a cool, different vibe and energy there. It's more than just the aesthetic. The aesthetic is so helpful, but it's actually the energy that brings it to life. Like I said, you could have someone's has the perfect aesthetic, but the energy behind it, it's dead. Or vice versa. They're like, this is the greatest energy, but aesthetically, you're like, this is a little clunky. You can have them both. Gold. You've got gold. Play with this. The more you play with it and just have fun, go out of significance with it, the richer everything will be for you. Thank you so much for exploring this very different topic with me. I hope that you have a wonderful, happy Halloween. If you don't celebrate Halloween, like whatever this day is for you, I hope that it is full of enchantment and magic, greater than you ever imagined possible. Just receive it because it's there. See you in the next episode on the Curious Universe, where we melt, destroy, dissipate the structures of reality so you can create your own reality, like your enchanted space. Bye for now.
Thank you for exploring the curious universe with me. Your curiosity matters. And what if together we could create a greater, more curious world?